Before trees took over the planet, there was something else. Not tall, not strong-looking, but it changed everything. Ferns. Go back hundreds of millions of years. Earth didn't look like it does today. No forests, no birds, no animals running on land. Just empty ground, wet air, and early life trying to survive. Before ferns showed up, the land was still kind of unfinished. Moss had already started the job. It broke down rocks and helped create the first soil. But moss stayed low. It couldn't grow tall. It couldn't take over the land. Then ferns arrived, and they did something completely new. They grew up. Ferns were some of the first plants to develop a system that could move water inside their bodies. That sounds simple, but it changed everything. It meant they didn't have to stay tiny anymore. They could reach higher, spread wider, compete for sunlight. And once that started, there was no going back. Ferns began to cover huge areas of land, not just patches here and there, entire regions. Thick, green, endless stretches of plant life. The first real forests were born, but these weren't forests like today. No oak trees, no pine trees, no flowers, just layers and layers of tall ferns and other early plants, packed together so tightly that sunlight barely reached the ground. If you walked into one of those forests, it would feel strange, hot, humid, quiet, but alive. The ground would be soft, almost like a sponge, made of dead plants breaking down over time. The air would feel heavy. Every step would sink a little, and everywhere you look, green. This was during a time scientists call the Carboniferous period, but you don't need the name to understand what mattered. This was when plants took control of the land. Ferns didn't just change how the world looked. They changed the air. As they grew, they pulled in huge amounts of carbon dioxide and released oxygen. Over time, oxygen levels in the atmosphere went way up, and that had some weird side effects. Insects got big, really big. We are talking dragonflies the size of birds, giant bugs crawling through the forest floor. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it was real, and plants like ferns made it possible. But their impact didn't stop there. Every time a fern died, it didn't just disappear. Layer after layer of dead plants built up over time, buried, compressed, and slowly transformed. Millions of years later, those layers became coal. Yeah, the coal humans burn today. A lot of it comes from ancient fern forests. So in a weird way, ferns are still powering parts of the modern world. They also helped lock the land in place. Their root systems held soil together, stopped it from washing away, and made the ground more stable. That stability allowed other forms of life to move in. Insects, early amphibians, and eventually more complex animals. Ferns didn't just live on the land. They made it livable. But nothing stays on top forever. After millions of years, new plants started showing up. Plants with seeds. That was a big upgrade. Seeds meant plants didn't need water to reproduce the same way ferns did. They could spread further, survive in tougher conditions, take over new environments. Slowly, these seed plants began to replace the fern forests. Then came trees. Real trees. Taller, stronger, more efficient. And just like that, ferns lost their spot as the rulers of the land. But they didn't disappear. They adapted. Today, ferns are still everywhere. You'll find them in rainforests, in mountains, in damp corners where other plants struggle. They stay in the background now, under the shade, quiet, easy to ignore. But they've been here for a very long time, and they've seen everything. When you look at a fern today, you're not just looking at a plant. You're looking at a survivor from a completely different world. A world before trees, before animals ruled the land, before the earth looked anything like it does now. Ferns were part of the first wave that turned land into something alive. They helped build forests before forests even existed in the way we understand them. They changed the air. They changed the ground. They helped shape the path for everything that came after. And even though they're no longer in charge, their impact never went away. It's still here, in the air you breathe, in the ground you walk on, even in the fuel we still use today. Not bad. For a plant most people walk past without even noticing.